We're in Bessemer, Alabama. It's a bit of a ghost town here. You have broken down train stations, you have foreclosed houses, and this is actually where the Walter White lives.
Our whole thing here at the Foundry is helping folks get out of a hole that they dug themselves into that they don't know how to get out of on their own. But the biggest piece of what we do is long-term faith-based drug and alcohol recovery. Walter graduated just probably a couple months ago now, and is still living here with us.
And Walter wasn't a low-level meth cook. He knew what he was doing.
He knew very much what he was doing. In fact, he was, I guess if you can classify as a high-ranking meth cook, he would be up there. He may even be a meth chef, because he was just good at it.
My relationship with Walter White is he's just a close friend. He was a meth cook.
A serious meth cook.
Oh, it's quite possible I was buying his stuff. I would go and, anywhere I could find it around here, and when he went away, it was becoming harder to find. When I did find it, the quality was not as great.
Breaking Bad's a popular show, so it was watched by a lot of people in here, and he couldn't walk by TV some nights without people making comments about, there's Walter White. We thought we were watching Walter White. Here's Walter White.
My name is Walter White, and I'm a meth cook. And for 10 years, I had the best meth in Alabama. If you wanted the best meth, you had to come this way. You had to come through me.
Oh, God, it's the real Walter White! Mr. White, the man, the myth, the legend!
Y'all shut up. I heard enough of this. Not again.
Walter White! Walter, what's the next series? Walter Legend. Oh, man. Walter White, let me get your autograph, man. Good to meet you.
So it was really the purest meth you could get.
Yes, ma'am. And they still talk about it around town. I would always hear about the meth that used to be there that they got from the guy that we supplied, and they had no idea it was through me, And I just smiled. I want to take you to it's called McCalla, Alabama. It's where I lived since 1988. It's where I got involved making meth. Made it for several years there. Getting to go back to where I used to live and where it all started, I have mixed feelings about it. A lot of good memories here and a lot of bad memories. Oh yes, by all means, I was a family man and proud of it. I work every day, come home, the kids play baseball, little league, had motorcycles. It was just a good time in my life. Cooking out, going places. We'd moved from Houston to here to the country, and it was just beautiful. My kids, they loved it, Well, like I said, we started making meth part-time at first, and I still run my business. But when the demand got so high, I would work during the day and make meth at night. And I was still making good money doing construction, but the meth money was just outweighing it just by so much. And I just chose to follow that line.
Walter recruited his friend Sammy as a partner. While Walter handled the cooking, Sammy led distribution.
So this is it?
Yes, ma'am. I haven't been here in 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
It's grown up.
So did you used to cook in there?
No, ma'am. I used to cook in that little building out back.
Can we walk back there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. A lot of memories here, a lot of bad ones.
How is this whole place built out? What does the lab look like?
Just a shelf on this wall, that one, and part of that wall. And it was just kind of a assembly line. Me and him worked in here. We had a couple of chairs that rolled around. There was nothing fancy or high tech. It just whatever it took to get the job done.
How did you learn how to cook the best meth?
The guy in Oklahoma, the way he showed us, and he said if you can get the iodine crystals, and we found a way to get those by the pound, so we would bump it, and they were lining up.
When you would cook your meth, would you test the percentage of its purity?
No, we didn't have to. There's several different ways to make it, and there's one way when you're making it with red phosphorus and iodine crystals. The iodine crystals and is what gives it the potency and what they call the legs. Right before it's done, you can add iodine. They call it bumping it. Heat with iodine crystals again, and it gives it they call it the legs. It makes it stronger, and you stay up longer on the same amount. And we'd always bump it.
And that was your secret?
Yeah.
Was your meth blue?
Oh, no, it's just white. But there's several different ways to make it come out different colors, yes. I've seen it blue and pink, purple, yes. When it's white, that's when it's perfect.
While Walter's meth business was growing and the authorities were catching on to him, he and Sammy upgraded to a remote 300-acre ranch to keep up with demand.
How did you fly under the radar for so long? You were making so much money. You were producing so much meth.
Just by only dealing with one man, and through my partner, we had the one guy. We probably dealt with him 6 or 7 years, and I never met the man face to face.
Wow, your distributor.
I never met him face to face. That was the deal when we started. But I didn't want to meet him, and I didn't want him to meet me. Because if something ever happened, he could not tell on me. We had a system worked out where we dropped the drugs off at a certain spot, and we come back the next day and pick them up. This is country. It's out in the woods. Nothing fancy. Behind the telephone pole, behind a tree, just covered up, and it worked that way for years.
When you hit that peak and you were making thousands of dollars a day, what sort of stuff were you buying?
Oh, tools, four-wheelers, cars, trucks, you name it. And just stockpiling the money. When you make it like that, it's easy to spend. It's just a different lifestyle. Looking back now, it's hard to believe that I could go through that much money in one day. Several thousand, easy. Wherever we went, we bought. I mean, it was just or wherever we went, we partied. The sky was the limit.
As Walter's meth business escalated, Walter would leave his family for days at a time. He and his wife got a divorce, and he grew apart from his kids.
I wasn't around much, was I?
Not really. No offense.
He used to take me to this one place, and I don't even know where it was, but I just remember that it was a really good place to ride a motorcycle, and there was lots of hills to climb, and I remember a long dirt road to get there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how old I was. I was probably somewhere between 5 and 10, but those were some of the happiest memories.
But at what point did you realize that your dad wasn't just doing carpentry, but was kind of starting to live a double life?
I was probably late teens. I'm going to say 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there. That's when I really started noticing. We were working together at the time, and I remember there were some days I noticed he was always at work, and then I noticed some days where he started missing some days, or he would, and then it got to be where he was missing a lot of days where he was gone more than he was there. And then finally he came to me and said, "Look, I've got something else I need to do, and so I'm just going to leave this with you." And so that was it. And we basically, I went one direction and he went another.
At what point did you feel that your dad's actions were starting to hurt the family?
Did it ever actually hurt the family?
Well, it did, because what you probably don't know this, but it got to a point where, like, I would see Dad out somewhere and we wouldn't speak. Oh. So that's really what she means by hurting the family. And he started to become someone different, and that's when we really started growing apart.
Who is that person that he became?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It just wasn't Dad anymore. It just wasn't the same guy.
Actually, my lawyer called me in one day. He called me on the phone, and
Did your lawyer know about your meth business?
me and Sammy had used him a lot over the years, and Sammy introduced me to him. He was good, but he called me out of the blue one day and asked me to come in. He did talk to me. He wanted to retain. He said, "I need you to pay me a couple grand and retain me, and so I can tell you something." And he told me that we were being looked at, mainly Sammy, not me, but he knew we were night and day. And he said, he told me what we was doing. He said, "They're looking at you hard. You need to stop what you're doing and go back to work." And I quit and went back to work. Sammy didn't. We grow apart then, but he doesn't stop. And I hear later on he gets busted again for meth, gets out, gets busted a second time. And when he eventually does go to court, he gets 2 life sentences because of all his priors. He had been in prison before, trafficking, marijuana, racketeering charge, and just career criminal. My lawyer then at the time, he's retired now, he would tell you X amount of dollars. It was always high. He could guarantee you what he could do, and right up front. And you paid the money, and it always worked out that way. My rock bottom moment, the second time I got busted with a $2 million bond, already on probation in Tuscaloosa. Scared to death they're going to send me to prison for the rest of my life. No one to contact. I don't even know either one of my son's phone numbers. I don't have a phone. Nobody's to contact. I've just been a drug addict. Judge Owens called me in. He granted me permission to come here to the foundry. He lowered my bond to $10,500. I don't know why he had a change of heart, other than I was praying each and every day about it.
I don't remember his exact words, but I'm sure it was something like, "Hey, look, you need to get me out of here." I didn't have the money, and I really wanted to be able to help. I had mentioned it to some of my friends from church, and one of them took it upon himself to go, and he asked 3 or 4 other men would they be interested in kind of investing in someone. So everybody pitched in some money, and they all put together the $1,000 that it took to get him out.
My relationship with Walter White is an extremely close relationship. He sticks out in my mind as one of those people who, you know, the process definitely worked for him.
You know, Walter's family has become a very integral part of his recovery. In fact, his son Chris has been a big piece of a lot of folks' recovery. But I think he's been a big piece for Walter because what Walter thought was forever gone has been restored. And when you restore those pieces in a person's life, you give them a reason to live again. I think that's what happened to Walter.
Chris, what was it like having your dad back for the holidays last year for the first time?
We enjoyed it. It was nice just hanging out with him and getting to talk to him and getting to know him again. It was really nice.
Just show up anytime, lock when the door, we're glad to see you. It's awesome.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, I was about to say something. I didn't.
I'm kidding.
And do you think your dad deserved another chance?
Absolutely.
Sure.
If I have to go to prison, I won't be hurting anybody but myself this time. It's just me answering to the things I've done. My family's, they got jobs and lives. I won't be hurting them this time.
I say, oh Lord, I want you to help me.